Storytelling Ron here. I'm going to do something a little different. My site is like Dungeons and Dragons, but I'm kind of getting into Star Wars RPG. Now, I haven't played it yet, but I'm going to show you how to play it because I've been studying it. Because I guess my brain, like, I already know everything about Dungeons and Dragons that I need to know. Like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm repeating myself when I read through stuff. It's kind of like, in my hobby of D&D. So my brain, I think, was just kind of wanting to go somewhere. And I knew I was going to do sci-fi at some point, RPG. I did Space Master in the past with ICE role-playing, International Crown Enterprises. I used to be into that, MERP, Middle Earth role-playing. I used to do that too. I was really heavy into that stuff too, D&D, advanced D&D, and then that. So I do fantasy and sci-fi when I do RPG, but I just haven't done a sci-fi yet. And watching The Mandalorian and enjoying Star Wars, it's not totally like my favorite sort of sci-fi realm, but boy, it's really fleshed out, and you might as well respect that. And so I decided, might as well try the Star Wars RPG, and I like it. It's actually simpler than you think. I have DM'd and GM'd for 40 years, so I'm very kind of like I can just roll out an adventure in a snap. It's just out of habit. So I want to explain to you how to play Star Wars RPG. Now, again, I haven't played it, so I could get some things a little off, but based on what I'm doing, and I've been kind of listening to some, actual plays, and I'm gearing up. I'm gearing up myself, and this is also for myself to work on. But here, I'm going to explain to you how to play Star Wars RPG. So here's the dice set. I took a picture of the dice, and I'm going through like the basics of it all. And what's cool is, at this age, for Christmas, which is coming up, I bought, and of course, wrapped it, and that's what my family's getting me for Christmas. But I did get a pre-Christmas gift, which is the beginner's kit. So that's what I've been studying online and blah, blah, blah. And I'm doing the Edge of the Empire one. So we'll see how that goes. And as far as other stuff I'm doing, man, Christmas and people's work, I haven't been able to play with the regular group. I do play with my family a lot, so that's okay. But with the regular group, Storm King's Thunder, trying to get those guys together is rough. But anyway, and we're all bumming, but it's life. So, Star Wars RPG, very fun. This is like a nice, relaxing kind of different thing than rolling, doing numbers and stuff. And sorry, I'm doing my coffee burps again. Oh, let me close this. Oh man, coffee burps. I think it's because I'm talking and I'm drinking and I'm excited. You always want to do something new to get you going. I'm still doing D&D. Don't worry about it. We got a whole, the family's getting together over the Christmas and the holidays, and we're going to be playing a lot of D&D, I think. We got 4 different set things going on. Storm King's Thunder, Tomb of Annihilation, Homebrew, and a Homebrew. 5 different, with various, families and different groups. But anyway, now I want to do Star Wars. So here are the dice. Let me explain the dice. These are the good dice. As a character, you're going to be rolling these dice. The green ones are the... just make sure I'm recording. The green ones are the basic good dice, and these are the I'm a professional, add these, this is my profession dice, like a pilot. If I'm going to do piloting, I will obviously probably add 1 or 2 of these into the dice roll, or replace one of these. And then these dice right here are for the GM to decide, oh, you get an extra benefit because I think, this ship is way better, or whatever you're doing, you get an extra benefit. It's a nice sunny day. You had a good meal. I'd like to play out if they really focus on getting a good meal or something, I'll give them, for the next roll or whatever, I'll give them a bonus dice. So that's what these are for. This is the GM's discretion dice. And the same with the opposite here. So this is the challenge. If you're piloting, the challenge, like if X-Wing or whatever, and you're flying, then the TIE Fighter would have these dice, like this, like a regular pilot TIE Fighter clone or whatever he is. Clone. If these are the bad dice. So I would, let's say the pilot actually is so good he's got all these dice, right? And then the TIE Fighter he's going up against is a regular TIE Fighter, I would probably just give him these 2 dice. And so the player would roll all these dice and these 2 dice. And then these would subtract. Now these little explosions here, stars, are successes. So the more of these you get, including on there, see, the more, the success you get. And then this one here is the critical. So if you get that one, it's like a success and a critical. Now these other ones here are I'll explain those in a sec. Their advantage and disadvantage. It's like they're actually, those are kind of unique and different. And then this is advantage, and this is threat, which is a disadvantage, I guess, if you roll these ones. Now, the failure die, the failure symbol, and then the success symbol cancel each other out, until you get whatever is left over, and then the advantage and the threat dice cancel each other out. They ignore so they're only in their two different categories. Now, let's say you're all successful, so he gets all successes, so he gets all these bonuses to do whatever damage or whatever, or more advantage. Or if he's piloting and he gets all these successes, then when he decides to shoot, he'll get all those extra advantages to the shot. Now, let's just say that he rolls and he gets all these. He wins the advantage, plus he gets wins the success, plus he gets advantages. This symbol here, the advantage symbol. Then I would say, okay, well, he gets something else to it. Now that's when the GM really has to be creative, and the players. The players can optionally add in their own. What about this advantage, or this threat? So the advantage there, like if I was thinking, okay, he's getting ready to shoot the guy, and he's successful, so he gets extra to the firing, which is his next turn or whatever. And then what would be the advantage? I would say, like, okay, you see a couple other ships over there that are in trouble, you can go help them next, and you'll get an advantage to that. I don't know, something. You got to come up with something. I don't know the scenario, but you got to come up with something. Or you're an ace pilot. You give him a couple extra, kind of like, well, it's not inspiration just yet. I'll explain that, but it's something to do with advantage. Maybe you regain a strain point. Let's say I have to explain that. There's hit points and there's strain points. They're pretty much similar, but I'll explain that in a sec. I know, I'm totally going all over the place. Whatever. And then of course these bad dice here are, let's say he's using a Z95 instead of an X-wing, right? Those clunkier ones, or his X-wing is partially damaged, or he's smoking or something. Then I as a GM can give him a negative dice. These will then add to the roll. So these ones I can add if I feel something good's going on, and these I can add if I feel something bad's going on. Like. Anyway, that's so you get that. So that's piloting, opening. I'll show you here with the character sheet. Trying to whatever you break through, open locks. Break open a door, whatever. I'm thinking D&D in my terms, so I don't have my Star Wars terms down, but that kind of thing. Every skill check you will use these. And everything that the DM thinks is the basic difficulty, like this is routine difficulty, these two are medium difficulty, and then these three are hard. Okay, added to whatever their role is, how many ever these they use. Now this one, I think I would only add, and you don't add, you exchange. So let's say it's 3 difficulty, and I thought, well, this thing is really well designed. I would take this one and replace one of these. Okay, you don't add to as much as replace. So let's say a pilot has a skill of 3 in piloting. So if he has a profession of 1 piloting though as well, or whatever you can have profession and then your ability score, like strength, toughness, or strength, or whatever. So, or let's say his agility is 3. Well, I could show you right here. Let's see for piloting. What's piloting? Piloting. So agility, yeah. So let's say his agility is 3, right? Boom. And then he has a rank of piloting in space of 1. See, so you get 2, you get the 3, plus you can change one of them into a professional, which is the that 12-sided. I don't know what they call them, their dice, but this one here. So that's how they do it. They do it to where you might have 4 normal skills in something because of your whatever intelligence or agility here. 3. I made the 3. Let me take this out. Oh, and I'll tell you where I got this thing in a minute. This page. How do I do that? Nope. 0. Let me try 0. Okay. And go back down to here. Okay. So 0. I put that 0 there. Okay. So I still hope I'm recording. Okay. Whatever. Oh yeah, I put tab there. Okay. Okay, sorry, I'm going all over the place. So for the agility, I put down that he has right, let me take this off. So 3 for agility, right? That's your piloting skill. And then if he has a rank in it, because he's a pilot, and usually when you start off at the beginning, you only have 1, maybe 2 ranks, but only 1 or 2. So there you replace it. You don't add to as much as you replace with the better profession die, or whatever this thing is called. So that's how you do that. Again, if I think that let's say you're trying to break through a door, right? Just mechanical skill, which they have here, I think. Mechanics right here. So you got a rank in mechanics. Well, let's say your intellect is 4. Okay, and then mechanics. Okay, so yeah, that one's obviously a little simpler than piloting, because piloting has other factors. So you're going to use 4 of the green, which I don't have, but in this picture anyway. So you use 4 of the green, and then because you have 1 rank in profession, you replace it with one of these. Now, and again, they say it's either, what if you had 4 mechanics ranks but only 1 intelligence? Whatever the lower number is, then here. Let's say this is 2, and you have 4 ranks. So it's just whatever the lower number is that's the yellow replaces out of the 4 that you have, whatever the lower number is. So that way you're not adding and getting a ton of dice, and it's either one or the other. It's either 4 here, whatever's the higher number of, and the brawn, agility, those your inherent stats there only go up to 6. So that's kind of cool. It's because it makes it simpler. It makes it a lot easier game. And I like the general skills, because I like them better than D&D. I wish D&D skills were like D&D has gymnastics and athletics. What? And it has like all these like similarities, like arcana and history. I'm like, come on, that's too similar to me, and all of them are like that. So it's kind of annoying to me. I wish they had a crafting skill, where you just had a craft, and then you could pick different, blacksmith or leather or whatever. I wish I just had a crafting skill. I could homebrew that, but I don't want to like keep explaining it every time I play with people. To this day, I don't even know I still don't, as a DM, I still don't even know the crafting, how it totally works. I always gotta look back. But anyway, so I really like the Star Wars one. Their skills are really what you'll need in an adventure. So I like that. They're pretty basic. And again, the dice rolls look like they're kind of fun. You just grab your dice. You grab the difficulty modifier, the DM decides what it is, and then, you start maybe little discussions on advantages or little disadvantages as well, and then, especially like if a stormtrooper is distracted and it's really busy, you could add one of these dice, the DM, okay, fine, give him one of those, okay, so another dice here, this one, and this is the inspiration dice, basically. So what happens at the beginning of each adventure? The GM and the players roll off these dice. Like, I think the GM rolls 1 and the players roll 1, and then they just look at the numbers and they add them together, and that's the good force and bad force dice. So if you get 2 whites is good, and then 2 blacks, which is bad. So now you have 2 and 2, and basically if a player decides to use one, it turns black. I think there's 5 total, and then whatever. And if the player decides to use one, it turns black. And so now the GM gets 3 black, and then the white players get 1 white, or something like that. And throughout the the adventure, so the GM can start throwing, and it's basically whenever he uses a black, he can throw this in there, or he can just do some kind of bad element. I'll probably be pretty nice about it. And the players obviously can add one of these in there if they really feel like they need it. If they have good force, so that's kind of like a fun, silly, extra little thing that is what this is. Okay, so as you can see, the things are pretty basic. Like if I do brawn, I'm gonna just do like average. Let me just do average across the board. Like this is a human being average, and this is the force thing, or I don't know. I haven't done the Jedi part of it. And see, so everything is average. You get two rolls for everything. And so if you're going up against something average, that is 2 negatives as well. 2 purple dice here. Like you get 2 green, and then you always add in the 2 purple. And then you compare and see if you succeeded or not. Also, like if you're trying to break a lock, right? And maybe you succeed, but you get these threat dice. You get a bunch of these threat dice and no advantage dice. See now, we open the lock. Great, you succeed. But someone catches you. That's the threat. Someone's there. If it was two threats, I would do that as a GM. Okay, someone's there and they catch you. Guard comes out. If it was 1 threat, I'd probably make that lower someone's coming, little farther off. Stormtroopers coming. We got to hurry up and pretend and hide. They get a chance to then deal with that threat. And then of course, if you had an advantage, they open the lock, and the advantage would be if they open the lock. The advantage would be it looks totally fine, safe. Once they close it, it doesn't even appear like anyone was there, kind of thing. So I'd do some kind of advantage like that. And then another threat I would do too is if they have some sort of pick locks, some sort of tools, and they got one threat, I would probably damage their equipment. Because it's funny, but in Star Wars, all the gear is like magic items. Every gear has some little plus to this and extra little thing to that, which is what I've been noticing. And like they have scanners, which is the same as some sort of whatever the magical spells are, looking beyond, scouting kind of things. But I would probably damage their equipment if they had one threat, more than anything else, because this game looks like it's a lot about getting gear and buying gear and getting money and stuff. And I would definitely want them to. And that's the one thing I'm concerned of is like you're gonna have so much gear, and also they have talent. You can buy talents with your XP. You don't go up levels in this. You just get when you get your XP, you can buy talents. So they have talent trees that they have little charts. You get a +1 attack, +1 to this, or extra that, just like you have in Dungeons & Dragons, all those feats or skills or whatever, extra feats or talents. So there's that in this as well. So you can tell what's going on. Oh, it's got barking. And what I like with their range thing too. The range thing is very simple. It's either close, you're engaged, so it's melee or whatever. Or close, medium, or long, and you kind of guesstimate. I totally in D&D I'm kind of doing that as well. I'm starting to get away from the grid. You don't need the grid in D&D when you do I use paper minis. You don't really need the grid. You just here's an inch, 2, 3, 4, done. That's all you need. You don't need the grid anymore. I'm totally done with the grid, and I'm gonna start drawing. All my maps are drawn. And it's just visual. You just I'll probably draw something in every map that refers to the size of it. So when I put the mini next to it, I know it's the right scale when I scale, because I use a TV at some on the table for that, which I love. And it's actually cheaper to use a TV than to print out colored maps. Whew. Okay, so that's the basics of the character. Oh, they do have wounds, and they have strain. Now, wounds is obviously you get damage when you roll the success dice, and the character takes damage, and each weapon has a basic like 5 hit points, 6 hit points, not damage. And then if you do more these extras, and then you get extra little points of damage, and obviously negatives as well. And so that's wounds. And then of course you have armor, which is their soak value, it's armor class. It's basically if a laser pistol does 9 damage plus 3, or just 9 damage, let's say the stormtrooper hits you, and you have a soak value of 5. Well, actually, yeah, soak value of 5, then it's -5 to the 9 damage, so you only take 4. Okay. And defense, I don't even know what defense is, but I'll have to look that up. Strain is, whatever, it's another factor. Strain is, you'll get some strain hit points. It's like hit points, but it has to do with like, let's say they do shoot you with a gun, but the stormtrooper shoots you, but he also does instead of getting any successes, or if he does get a success, but he also gets the advantage things right here against you. The advantage symbol, this one here. So then he strains you. Basically, you're leaping, you're tired, you're getting exhausted because you're trying to dodge or whatever, and you get a strain point. And also you can expend your strain points to run fast or do some huge exertion thing or some desperate thing. I would say, all right, take a strain point for that, or 2 strain points for that. And of course, when you get to 0, you're exhausted. So that's kind of cool. I like that factor. You can play around with that a lot, and you heal up from that pretty quick, I think. Criticals happens when you either get a whole bunch of successes that so if you get 5 successes over your minimum to hit, you get a critical on the person, and there's a critical table you can roll. And each time you get another critical, it's +10 to the roll, so that goes to 150 or whatever. And plus, this is a critical as well, I think, the damage. There's a critical table, so you can that's kind of cool. I don't know all the extra little things because I haven't done these guys, But then there's these things too, which are they're just like I think basically if you're staggered or whatever, and then it's your turn to fight, I'll give you a couple of these kind of thing when you're disoriented and staggered. You're still in the fight, but you obviously get some disadvantages when you roll to the your good dice. Okay, so that's kind of cool. It's pretty basic. I mean, it's and then you get and the talents you'll have. If you're a pilot, you'll pilot. You can buy different talents as you get XP. So that's cool. It's very simple. I haven't done any of this. So here's some of the actions. It's just like D&D. You can do a maneuver instead. You only get 2 maneuvers per turn at maximum. How many you decide? Activate an ability. Sure. Force power. I haven't checked it out. Perform a skill check. Obviously, perform a combat check. And as you can see, it's pretty basic, right? You just start off kind of with 2. This is the 2. Like your skill is obviously either 2 or 3 or maybe even 4. And then you got, brawn. Let's say you have a toughness of 4, like a Wookiee, and then you get 1 replaced because you're a fighter. Or what if you got 5 brawn and you're a tough Wookiee and you get 2 of them replaced because of your 2 ranks in brawl or whatever in fighting? So that's hardcore. And then you go up against this or 2 or to hit somebody. Plus you add some based on the whoever they're fighting and what they got, and you kind of decide that. And then same with these to hits, same thing. See, short range, these are the difficulties. So you would add these against your skill check. And then you would add some of these. It depends on the defense, I think, of the character or the NPC you're attacking. So then there's other factors here. You add, the prone stuff. You add or minus those dice, the little square dice to the attacks based on who's got what positions and all that. And it's pretty basic. So that's cool. That's really simple, I think. I could just see like, it's too difficult to hit the guy shooting him, but he's prone, so I'm gonna give you one of the black die to make it even harder. So it's kind of cool. You don't have to look at a chart or anything necessarily. And yeah, so these are extra maneuvers. So aim gives you an extra to hit. Oh, you spend 2 maneuvers, you get 2 of them. Assist, guarded stance. So yeah, so you're a guarded stance is anyone that tries to hit you gets a negative die, but you get a negative die if you try to attack anyone else as well. So like a stormtrooper would be like that, I think. Maneuvers. Okay, so that's cool. That's pretty much that's kind of the basic combat right there as well. Okay, and now I'm going to go. I know it's crazy because I'm silly. I'm going to go into Starship stuff. Starship stuff is kind of similar. Now this is I got these sheets, by the way. Sorry, I didn't mention that earlier. Legends of the Galaxy website. That's cool. They got these cool helpful sheets here. I haven't studied this a whole lot, but I can just see what's going on here. It kind of looks fun. You can do different actions. This is during combat. You got to deal with the ship's sizes and speeds, and gain advantage. As you want to get into the right position, like an X-wing. Like think of an X-wing going up against those Corvettes. Obviously, it would be pretty easy for it to get a position so they can fire on it. But obviously the Corvette's going to have more shields and more, be able to take more damage and all that. But this is pretty basic. You just read through. You do have to get an understanding. But I have never played it yet, and I'm looking at this, and I get it. I get what they're doing here. Your basic difficulty to achieve something is with this, and then you plus or minus based on what you think. So let's just say that the difficulty is 3. You're a pilot. You have 4 skills plus you have 1 skill in piloting and your agility, right? But you're an X-wing, so I'm gonna add one of these. Maybe 2, if I think it's a really good X-wing or whatever. But what if the pilot on the TIE fighter, let's say, is an Imperial tough guy? I would give him, I could give him all of these and plus the red. You know what I mean? Because I think this guy's really good. Or a Jedi. Or one of the veteran type looking characters. So I guess that's it. I mean, what's this one here? Okay, so these are advantage. These are like the like I was talking. Advantage and triumph, and then threat and despair. Despair is like a critical, negative critical. This is obviously a critical, and the advantage and the threat are the two that work on each other. And then these are like just different optional things that you can do, which are cool. Advantage gives you something, upgrade, whatever. to the to stuff, and then the disadvantage is like things are happening to the ship. We lost shields or whatever. So that's cool. So this looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to. I'll be making some minis, and I'll probably post them somewhere, probably on my Patreon. But they'll be free because I'm just going to be acquiring, and I'm going to be using the toy miniatures. I'm going to be focusing on them as my paper minis for that, and this will be all free. I'm going to provide if you guys are playing this. I'm using the Star Wars action figures as my miniatures, so that's a lot of fun. Some of them are really good, like they're really the $500 miniature. They look like the real thing. But that's what I'll be posting as my little paper minis that I'll be using in this game. When I can corral a group together to play it. I'm definitely going to do Edge of the Empire, very Mandalorian-like. That's what I'll be doing. It'll be in that kind of realm. But that should be a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to it. It looks kind of like a fun, simple, thing. And hopefully I'll be writing some sci-fi too soon. So, yeah. So that's how you play Star Wars RPG. If you got any questions, please, comment. Let me know if I'm too confusing and retarded or whatever. But I just enjoy doing this and talking and practicing and all that. All right, that's it for now. 26 minutes. Wow.